the fascinating history of the 1969 Singapore 10-cents coin, a tiny seahorse that tells Singapore's story of independence and resilience. In the bustling streets of post-independence Singapore, a small copper-nickel coin quietly entered circulation in 1969, carrying with it the dreams of a young nation. This is the story of the 1969 Singapore 10-cents coin, not just metal and mint marks, but a symbol of sovereignty, maritime pride, and economic rebirth. After separating from Malaysia in 1965, Singapore, under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew, faced the urgent need to forge its own identity. No longer tied to the old Malaya and British Borneo dollar, the Republic introduced its first independent currency on June 12, 1967. This Marine Series, also called the First Series, marked a bold break from colonial past, celebrating Singapore's identity as a vibrant port city surrounded by rich seas and fertile traditions. The 10-cents denomination became part of daily life, helping fuel the rapid growth of a nation, transforming from a sleepy entrepot into a global economic powerhouse. Hello, friends. Welcome to Vault of Old Coins. Here, we bring you the oldest, the rarest, and the most mysterious coins from around the world. Do you want to know which coin is worth millions, which coin is hiding one of history's biggest secrets, and which coin looks ordinary today, but could make you rich tomorrow? So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's open the Vault of Old Coins. The man behind this beautiful design was the world-renowned Australian goldsmith and silversmith Stuart Devlin. Born in 1931, Devlin had already gained fame for designing Australia's decimal coins in 1966. Singapore's Board of Commissioners of Currency handpicked him because of his elegant modern style that blended clean lines with local symbolism. Devlin personally engraved the master dies for the entire series, ensuring every detail captured the spirit of the young republic. The coins were struck at the Royal Mint in London initially, and later at the newly established Singapore Mint, set up in 1968 at Chartered Industries. Why 1969 specifically? By then, Singapore's economy was booming, population was growing, trade exploding, and everyday transactions needed more small change. A massive 25,014,000 circulation pieces of the 10 cents were minted that year, plus 3,000 special proof versions for collectors. It was not a commemorative coin, but a workhorse of the new dollar system. Practical, yet poetic. Now let's look at both sides and their hidden histories. Front side, obverse. In the center stands 10 cents in bold, clear lettering. Flanking it are two graceful stalks of paddy rice, curving gently like protective arms. On the right curves 1969 Singapore. This side speaks of prosperity and self-reliance. Rice has deep cultural roots in Asia. It represents food security, growth, and the hard-working spirit of Singapore's early settlers. Even though Singapore imports most of its rice today, the design reminded citizens of their agricultural heritage and the importance of building a stable future from humble beginnings. Stuart Devlin's choice was deliberate. It grounded the coin in everyday life while evoking abundance. Backside, reverse. Here swims the star of the show, a stylized crowned seahorse, scientifically Hippocampus coronatus, also known as the Great Crowned Seahorse. No words, just the delicate yet strong creature, its body covered in intricate scales, head crowned with spikes, tail curling gracefully amid stylized seaweed. The seahorse was chosen to celebrate Singapore's identity as a maritime nation. As a busy port at the crossroads of the world, Singapore has always lived by the sea. Seahorses symbolize grace under pressure, adaptability in strong currents, and quiet strength. Perfect metaphors for a tiny island nation navigating geopolitical storms after independence. Devlin's engraving captures every tiny detail so vividly that even after decades, the coin feels alive. This little 19.41 millimeter, 2.83 gram coin, made of durable copper nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel, with a reeded edge, was minted to last. It circulated widely in shops, buses, and markets during Singapore's golden years of growth in the late 1960s and 1970s. Let us dive deeper into the Marine series, first series, that defined Singapore's early numismatic identity. After gaining independence on 9 August 1965, Singapore urgently needed its own currency to assert sovereignty and support a growing economy. The currency agreement with Malaysia and Brunei ended, and on June 12, 1967, the new Singapore dollar was launched alongside notes and coins. The coins, known as the Marine series, celebrated the island's maritime heritage with beautiful depictions of sea creatures on the reverse sides, while the obverse featured the denomination flanked by rice stalks, a nod to prosperity and agricultural roots, even as the nation shifted toward industrialization. The entire series included 1 cent, stylized fountain or common seahorse elements in some descriptions, but actually part of the marine theme. 5 cents, yellow-vented bulbul, a local bird, or fishing motifs in broader series context. 10 cents, crowned/spotted seahorse. 20 cents, swordfish. 50 cents, lionfish. $1, Singapore lion symbol with rice stalks. This design philosophy was intentional. Singapore, a tiny island with no natural resources, positioned itself as a global trading hub. The sea creatures symbolized adaptability, strength in currents, and the rich biodiversity of the Straits of Malacca and Singapore waters. The rice stalks represented food security and the hard work of early settlers from China, India, Malay, and other communities who built the entrepot. The master designer was Stuart Devlin, 1931 to 2018, a gifted Australian goldsmith, silversmith, and sculptor. Devlin rose to prominence by winning the 1964 competition to design Australia's first decimal coins, introduced 1966. His style, clean, modern, elegant, yet full of intricate detail, impressed Singapore's Board of Commissioners of Currency. He was commissioned to create the full set of 6 circulation coins. Devlin personally engraved the master dies, ensuring high artistic quality. He worked from his London studio after moving there in 1965. The coins were initially struck at the Royal Mint in London, Tower Hill, and from 1968 onward, many were produced at the newly established Singapore Mint, part of Chartered Industries of Singapore. This shift marked Singapore's growing self-reliance in even small national symbols. Why specifically in 1969 for such a large mintage? Singapore's economy was exploding in the late 1960s. GDP growth averaged over 10% annually. Industrialization, port expansion, Jurong Industrial Estate, and foreign investment created jobs. People earned and spent more, increasing demand for small denomination coins for everyday transactions, bus fares, hawker food, market purchases. The 1969 10 cents saw a massive circulation mintage of 25,014,000 pieces. Additionally, 3,000 proof versions were struck for collectors and sets. The coin's specifications: diameter, 19.41 millimeters, weight, 2.83 grams, composition, copper-nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel, durable and resistant to wear, edge, reeded, grooved, for anti-counterfeiting and easy identification by touch. Singapore's identity is inseparable from the sea. As one of the world's busiest ports, even in 1969, ships from every nation docked here. Seahorses are unique in nature. Males carry the eggs, they swim upright with grace, and they anchor themselves with tails in strong currents, perfect metaphors for Singapore. A small island, just 580-plus square kilometers then, with no hinterland, it had to adapt quickly after separation from Malaysia, facing unemployment, housing shortages, and defense challenges. Like the Seahorse, Singapore showed quiet strength, innovation, and the ability to thrive in turbulent waters. The marine theme across the series also educated citizens and the world about local biodiversity in the coral reefs and mangroves around the island. Some sources note it as a spotted seahorse or stylized version to fit the artistic needs while remaining recognizable. The 1969 batch was mostly struck at the Singapore Mint, though earlier years relied on London. These coins entered circulation rapidly. In the late 1960s and 1970s, you would find them in hawker centers paying for a plate of char kway teow in buses or tucked into red packets during Chinese New Year. They witnessed Singapore's transformation, the building of HDB flats, national service introduction, and the rise as an Asian tiger economy. Many were worn smooth from daily use, but high-grade survivors retained sharp details on the seahorse's scales and rice grains. Because of the enormous mintage, over 25 million, the 1969 10 cents is one of the most common dates in the series. It with rare gold commemoratives or error coins, realistic values based on current numismatic data, circulated, used, fine to very fine condition, 10 to 50 US dollar, often just face value or slight premium. Uncirculated, UNC, bright, nowhere, 100 to 2,000 US dollar, sometimes up to $1,000 to $5,000 for attractive examples. High-grade certified, NGC/PCGSMS 65 or better, 20,000 to 500,000 US dollars, plus depending on eye appeal and luster. Proof versions. 1969, proof only 3,000 minted. Significantly rarer, often $4 to $5 million plus in top condition, with ultra cameo examples fetching more in specialist auctions. Error varieties, off-center strikes, die cracks, or misstrikes, can command premiums, but standard pieces remain affordable for beginners. Collectors value it more for historical and artistic merit than raw price. In USA or Europe markets, circulated examples might sell for $4 to $5 million equivalent, while UNC pieces reach higher. Its million story lies in what it represents: Singapore's journey from vulnerability to one of the richest nations per capita. The 10-cent Seahorse coin quietly served until the second series, Flora theme, in 1985 to 1986, gradually replaced it, though older coins remained legal tender. Many were melted or lost, but enough survived to tell the tale. Today, as Singapore celebrates over 60 years of independence, this 1969 coin remains a tangible link to its foundational years. For numismatists, it is an accessible entry into Asian coin collecting. For historians, it symbolizes how small symbols forge national identity. For dreamers, it reminds us that even tiny things, a 2.83-gram coin, a seahorse, a few rice stalks, can carry the weight of a nation's hopes.